seriously, how is Republican leadership in Tennessee any different than the Democrats from a policy and implementation standpoint? Brandon Lewis here with the Tennessee Conservative News, Drinking with Lincoln. Hope you're doing all right. It's a serious question. When you look at the policy accomplishments, the initiatives that have been pushed and or killed, passed and or failed, and then you look at the rise of illegal immigration in Tennessee and unprecedented, unchecked numbers. I mean, the state bears some responsibility for that, right? Some bit of responsibility. It's the federal government's fault, right? But it's the state's job to fix the screw-ups of the federal government if they can within their own state and not depend on the federal government, right? That's the whole reason we have separations of power. So when I look at what the Republicans have done, here's what I see, and it ain't much. They passed that law. I'm not going to read the bill numbers. They passed that law that would give life in prison or the death penalty to an illegal alien after they'd done some heinous thing to people, right? They had life in prison, something I can't remember. Well, that's great, but shouldn't we try to keep them out of here first? They did another one where if an illegal alien is arrested, the local law enforcement have to report it to the federal government. Well, that's great, but can't we keep them from getting in the state? I mean, that's all defense. That is all reactive, not proactive stuff. What else have they done? They gave illegal aliens professional licenses, but I think this year they patted themselves on the back till their arms about broke because they undid this crappy law that they did the first time around. I mean, I guess you get some credit for fixing your own screw-ups, but I don't give people much for it. And that's kind of like you should at least fix your own screw-ups. Like Bill Lee has never fixed any of his COVID screw-ups, never even admitted to them, right? And, you know, that's not minding the farm to go from good to suck back to good, right? We should have never gone to suck. And so I don't give them a lot of credit for that one. What else have they done? I made a bunch of noise, had a committee meeting or two, positive, right? But what's negatively happened? Well, without getting into like every little nitpicking bill, every bill that would stop the mass transportation of illegal aliens, every bill that would stop the taxpayer-funded education, every bill that would cut off the welfare benefits and cut off the employment have been killed. The Chamber of Commerce and the NFIB and Bill Lee's office comes down there and they just kill the bill, and Randy McNally wants none of it. And Cameron Sexton wants none of it because they are funded by the Chamber of Commerce. And then the Democrats kind of like, they can't do anything because they're not in power. If they were, would they make illegal immigration that much worse? I don't see how they could. I mean, unless they just started paying them benefits or something. But when we just freely let them come in and take the jobs and get on the dole and get a $12,000 taxpayer-funded education at mind your expense. I mean, once we're at that point, like I don't know what else the Democrats could do to make them come in any faster with an open southern border. So I don't see a whole lot of daylight between Republicans and Democrats on illegal immigration. Now, here's a second point I want to make. I recently went down to the Alamo. You may have seen the video. And I was just impressed. I think it was like 1 out of 5 were Tennesseans. I can't remember. I counted them all up individually. It's about 1 out of 5, I think, 20%, I believe. And you look at all those guys that left with all that grit, and they left because there was a Southern invasion, right? They left because there was a Southern invasion in their eyes, right? And Texas wouldn't be a state if they hadn't left, probably. And so they left. Our Tennessee volunteers left to stop a Southern invasion. We got Tennessee volunteers in leadership today, like Bill Lee and Cameron Sexton, Randy McNally, and others. And they're causing the southern border to come to Tennessee through their inaction. I don't think Davy Crockett would have done that. I don't think he would have allowed it. I don't think Andrew Jackson would have allowed it. Bill Lee ain't no Andrew Jackson. He ain't no Davy Crockett. He might be Betty Crocker, but he ain't Davy Crockett. And so, I don't know. Now, here's the last, third, final point. Number one, I want you to just tell me, okay, show me some policy or implementation differences between the Democrats and Republicans in Tennessee. I truthfully want to know. This is a fact-finding mission, not just a gripe session. The second thing is, I wish the Tennessee leadership of now could be as ferocious as the Tennessee leadership of days gone by, have the same kind of manly courage. We don't see a lot of it. A lot of it we see is womanly courage, and some of the ladies in power could teach the men a few things. And the third thing I want to talk about is the fact that if you're going to run for governor in the state of Tennessee this upcoming cycle, you would be a fool, a stone cold fool, not to make illegal immigration your number one issue to push on. Because people think of the economy in terms of federal stuff, but illegal immigration and the economy are neck and neck. So closed circuit transmission, anybody who's thinking about running, the economy is kind of, they think about that. You can make the economy okay in the state, but the federal's going to screw it up or make it awful. And we got the old global economy. People kind of understand that. But illegal immigration can be attacked at the state level and should be. Republicans should quit killing the bills to do it. And leadership should, let's do like you always do, guys. Republican leadership, just do what you always do. When there's a bill, like the transgender surgery bill or closing the Republican primaries or whatever it is that you kill in committee and kill in committee and kill in committee, and then it becomes a popular issue and then you run out in the spotlight. So this would be a good time for leadership to do this. It's the old, get out there, real team players in leadership in Tennessee, right? No, we're going to run it down your throat and take all the credit leadership. It's what I've seen. But nonetheless, you could mop the floor with people that are mealy-mouthed in this state talking about illegal immigration. You could. People would be like, oh, finally, somebody is saying this. Yes, let's get this. They would come out of the hills and the hollers. It'd be a voter turnout driver. It'd help you win a primary in a heartbeat. Now, you'd have to make sure you don't do like Bill Lee, make 10 promises when you run for office. Don't keep any of them. You can't do that, right? You can't run on something real hard and then not do anything about it. Unless you're Bill Lee, you can do it for him. But if you're going to do it and not have resentment and not have the people paying attention know that you lied, then you need to, if you're going to run on illegal immigration, you just need to freaking go push on it. It's a fantastic issue. It's probably the best state issue to run on because people care about it and it's easy to communicate. And we can win on it. We could lead the nation if Republicans in Tennessee would act like some of our leaders of old. Guys, that's what I got. Drinking with Lincoln. Truly. What's the big difference between Republicans and Democrats on illegal immigration? I want you to tell me. Talk to you next time, guys. Braden Lewis, the Tennessee Conservative, hanging out on the back porch. It's a wonderful southern evening in Tennessee. Talk to you next time.